Hello, my viewers. It's good to have you on my channel once again. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to share my story about my awakening process, my spiritual awakening process. I want to share with you how the story began, how the journey has been so far, and where the journey is taking me, and how the process has been to enable other people who the awakening process might be upon now, so they will know and learn, so they will be guided, because nobody guided me. I didn't know what was happening to me when it hit me. So it took pains, it took a lot of misunderstanding from both me and my immediate loved ones, and even the society around me. I was misunderstood. So I want to share. If you experience some of these things, probably you might be on your way to being spiritually awakened. Ladies and gentlemen, my story began in 2017, around November 2017. I found myself lately before November, around that time, I don't sleep. I had terrible insomnia. Naturally, I don't sleep most of my life, most of my adult life, but this particular time, around that frame of time, I found myself not being able to sleep at all, except I took some amount of alcohol. I could not just sleep. It was terrible. And when people were sleeping, I was roaming about. I couldn't sleep. I was going from pillar to post. I was going from one end of my room to the other, from the bed to the bathroom. I was just restless. And what I do most is I found myself seeking for out of this world knowledge. I was seeking for things that are beyond human reasoning. I could go Googling things like, why was the devil created? Why did the devil rebel? I went out of my way. I got scared. I was doubting my own sanity. It wasn't normal. That was not me. I was seeking for knowledge that were dark, knowledge that were good, dark, and neutral. I was feeling these were not human. I was scared for myself. And I was scared because there was no one to talk to. There was no one to relate with. It got to a point where it got worse. I wasn't able to sleep. Now it started getting worse. It got to a point where I started getting scared of people. I was scared of my immediate loved ones, the people who care about me the most. I started translating them as wanting to harm me. I was hearing voices. I was seeing visuals of people that were not there. I was seeing people. I was hearing voices. And I got scared because no one was there. I will ask somebody, can you see this? He will say no. I got scared. Can you hear what this person said? He will say no. I got very scared. And now people started doubting me. They said I was sick. I was running mental. I was crazy. And they took me to a rehabilitation center, a rehabilitation home. They kept me there. The more I saw people, the more I got scared. Now I knew exactly what I was saying. I knew I was not mad. I knew what was going on in the whole place. But I could not process the whole thing that was going on. Hearing voices that are not there. Nobody is hearing the voices, only I could. I was seeing visions, but nobody could affirm to the fact that that thing is there. So they got scared. Now I was in the hospital. The more I say those things, the more they say I am running mad. They put me on drugs. They call them the risperidone to aid me to sleep. I was at the hospital for a month and 2 weeks, being placed on very, very hard drugs. It got to a point where if the energy comes, if I'm filled with the energy, there's this outburst that comes. When I start saying I'm hearing voices, that's when they will give me strong injections that will subdue me. And they confirmed I was really mad. They even put me in chains to an extent. Now it got to a point where somebody that I was sharing the same room with in the rehabilitation center. I don't know if it's really a mental home because they rehabilitate people there. People that do drugs, they also rehabilitate them from there. So somebody was bothered about my case. He asked the doctor during therapy session, general therapy session, he asked the doctor, what is wrong with this man? This man talks well, everything goes well, but there are things that seems to trigger him, that makes him go gaga and makes him do those outbursts that he does. So what could be wrong with this man? He wanted to know. Then the doctor said I was suffering from persecutory delusion. Immediately the doctor said persecutory delusion. It just dawned on me immediately that nobody is really trying to harm me. Now my parents were not trying to harm me, but I was seeing them as a threat, as if they wanted to harm me. The people in the hospital, the people I shared, the other patients weren't really harmful. They were just being patient. But I was looking at them as a threat, as if they wanted to harm me. Now that thing, I just absorbed that, I processed it, and immediately I got fine. Because I knew there was no threat anywhere. It was just in my illusion. It was just delusion. There was nobody there. So I got well, I got better immediately. It hastened. I wasn't really mad. I wasn't crazy, but they thought so. The doctor diagnosed me with bipolar 2. That's what he called it. I started reading much about bipolar 2. They placed me on the drugs. They said I was going to take the drugs for the rest of my life. Bipolar doesn't have any cure. That was how the process began. I was on drugs, on those respiratory drugs. They changed the drugs into whatever it is. He asked me to check. If I see my spirit going high, I go to the doctor. He does a diagnosis. Then he changes drug according to. I did not know it was the spiritual aspect. There was no one to talk to. People are always scared of what they don't know, what they don't understand. They label it quickly. They are quick to label you a crazy person. And they tame you, they chain you. Then, because of they are scared, they don't know what you're capable of. If you see things differently, they will just label you. He said I had bipolar, they put me on drugs. Now I was on drugs since 2017, coming down to late last year, 2021. Continued living my normal life, taking those drugs. I slept in time. And I woke up at least in time. I wasn't worried anymore. I wasn't hearing voices. I wasn't seeing visions. I started living the kind of life I lived before. I went back to the normal me. That was the me that was before all those things began. Then some around late last, coming from, I stopped taking the drugs in 2001 for like 5 months, coming down to November. I wasn't taking the drugs. My family was like, do you take your drugs? I said yes, just to let peace reign. But I stayed off the drugs. Then I started observing those energy coming back to me in a sort of way, but it wasn't as intense as when it began in 2017. It was coming in a more mild manner now. My brain started opening to things I really didn't know. Nobody taught me, but I just knew. It's like hard knowledge. It's not knowledge I learned from school. It's not knowledge anybody taught to me. I don't know, probably because of those researches I was doing it back in 2017, but things started dawning on me in my heart. I just knew things. I could like pick your energy. I could sense you. I hated negativity with passion. I started becoming a rebel in the house. Now they started questioning, do I take my drugs again? I told them yes. I affirmed that I do take the drugs. I said, let me see where this thing is taking me this time around on my own. So I stopped taking the drugs. Coming down to November, the experience got severe, but in a mild and more subtle kind of way. I was understanding the process now better, but I was scared for myself too because I knew it wasn't me, but the knowledge, I was more scared of the knowledge. It was like, it's better when I was in the ignorant state of Frederick. I preferred not knowing at all. This knowledge came with power. And power is responsibility. And if you can't handle responsibility, you better not just go close to where there is responsibility. So, coming back to 2002 January, some of my childhood gifts started coming out. I started writing to inspire people, to motivate people. It got to a point I started feeling the things started diverting. I started seeing synchronicities from YouTube videos I watched. It got better. I started knowing things. I started knowing bipolar patients were sharing their experiences. Most of them were like there was a difference between schizophrenia, I think, from bipolar and then spiritual awakening. Then I started seeing these things aligned with what I felt. Then I said, let me go through this channel and see. And I held on to my faith. I started reading more of the Bible, started dwelling on Jesus' principle of living, holding on to the faith, trust, and believing in the process. I let myself go. I opened myself to believing, to absorbing the scriptures, to reading with belief. So I understood, I started having knowledge and wisdom and understanding through the channel of God's context of the spiritual awakening. So I held on to it. Ladies and gentlemen, as I talk to you now, I'm not scared of anything. I go into anything I want to do with confidence. And this is the most time where people are beginning to understand, they are beginning to conform and understand that these things I was really doing, I wasn't really mad. They are beginning to see the good in me, and they are beginning to see, because they always marked me as being different. Right from when I was born, they always say I'm a rebel. But now I understood that being a rebel, standing out from the crowd, makes you original. And once you're original, the people that hold on to you, that stay in your life, are the original people that will ride or die with you. Fake friends fell off. I shed fake friends. I shed people that no longer stood or are in line with my purpose in life. Now I'm happy. I'm at peace. I know I have a purpose. I was living a very dirty, filthy life that was on a fast way of destruction and death. But now I found peace in God. I try to exhort with people, like-minded people as me. I stay off people that are negative. I dread negativity with passion. I hold on to my faith. Positivity is light, and once you have the light, you are enlightened. And darkness has nothing with an enlightened person. So try, if you find yourself going through any of these processes, read about spiritual awakening. You might not just be running mad or crazy. You might just be on your way to becoming the next best thing, the next greatest thing. God might just be speaking to you through these channels. Pay attention closely. You only see what you want to see. If you think you are running mad or you are going crazy, that's why you are seeing these things, then that's what you get. You become crazy. But once you see and you look into the positive aspect of these things, ask God to help you harness what you feel, to process what you feel, through His guidance and through His protection. And you might just be the next best thing to happen to humanity. Stay blessed, and I pray that God opens the heart of the eyes of your heart, so you see with your heart and start living on a spiritual path and no longer on the fleshly, worldly path that leads to vanity and death. May God help us all and open our eyes to the things of the Lord. May God have mercy, and may His grace continue to endure with us and help us to become the best versions of the people that He has created us to be. God created everyone for a purpose. Ask Him to show you your purpose. Ask Him to show you your gifts, your talents, or your skills to help you to navigate through this world. Let Him give you your own staff, like He gave Moses, to help you as a compass in this world that we live in, for you to put value and to do His works. Thank you very much. Adios. Stay safe, stay blessed, and stay holy, stay righteous. Have a nice day. Adios.